I used to be so intimidated to make pizza dough. And to be fair, that was probably because the first few times I made it, or maybe the first few dozen times I made it was tougher than cardboard. I think a lot of times dough can take some trial and error, but I have found a very simple recipe that I've been using for years now that turns out great every time. And it's only 4 ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. So let's go make pizza. To begin, you get some warm water. I like to have it around 95 to 105 degrees. I just use a food thermometer, and then you add in a half teaspoon of yeast and let that bloom for about 5 minutes. Just set that aside. Then you add 4 cups of all-purpose flour. I know some people use double O flour, but I just use all-purpose. And then I add in about 2 teaspoons of salt. I don't measure this like extremely accurately. As you'll see here, I kind of just use that half teaspoon and put 4 of those in into the flour. And then you load that into your stand mixer. And I turn it on the lowest setting and just let that get a bit mixed up. Then you add in your yeast and water. And as you can kind of see here, you can see how it turned cloudy. It gets a little bit foamy. That's how you know that the yeast is alive. If nothing changes when you add your yeast to your water, then I'd say try again with some different yeast. You can also add a pinch of sugar to your yeast if you want it to bloom faster. Sometimes I do that if I want to make the dough rise quicker. So you let this mix for, I don't even let it go super long at all. It's probably around 5 minutes. I know that that's not very traditional, but I just don't let it go that long. I just let it mix until it comes together. If it's a little too dry, you can add some water like you saw me do just there, or if it's too wet, you can add in a little bit more flour. You just want it to all come together and pull away from the sides of the bowl, just like this. I think this is what they call a shaggy dough. Yeah, so it doesn't look too pretty or anything. It's just a big lump of dough, but that's what it looks like for the first step. And then I cover it and I let it rest at room temperature for 20 minutes. All right, then on a floured work surface, you pull that dough out, and now we're going to knead it by hand for, honestly, again, probably around 5 minutes. That's about all I do. I know, like I said before, some people do much more than that, but I've had success with it this way, so that's what I do. There are many different ways you can knead. This is how I prefer to do it, or you can knead like this using both hands, whatever is comfortable for you. I wanted to say here as well, this recipe I normally let rest overnight in this coming step that you'll see, but you can make this same day. You just need to do it a few hours ahead of time to give it time to rise. I also cook mine in an outdoor pizza oven, but for years before I had that pizza oven, I cooked it indoors in my regular conventional oven. I just got the oven really hot and cooked it for, and I'm I'm making an earthquake there. If you want to cook it in a conventional oven, you just get your oven as hot as it'll go, and it cooks. If you have a pizza stone, that helps with how it cooks as well. And I cook it for about 12 to 15 minutes. But the nice thing is with the outdoor oven, it cooks in like 2 minutes. Anyway, I just wanted to say that here while I had some time. So I just knead it until it feels smooth. See here, I'm making sure it's a nice, tight, smooth ball, and I smack it around, and there you have your nice dough. So you put this back in the bowl. I know a lot of people use a clean bowl, but I just use the one that I mixed it in because I don't want to do more dishes. I do spray it with some nonstick cooking spray. and put the dough in there, and then spray the dough with the spray just so that it doesn't dry out. Cover that and let that rest at room temperature for about 2 hours. Then when you come back to it, look how nice and rested and soft it is. You just cut that in half, and then you form each half into its own ball. And I do this by just pulling up from the sides and then gathering it all together like that, so that the top, when we turn it over, will be a nice, flat, soft, taut surface. And you put those in their own separate bowls. And this is where I prefer to let these rest in their bowls covered overnight in the fridge. That's how I prefer it. I think the taste is better that way, but you can do this within the same day. I would just say give it at least a couple more hours to rest in these bowls. So yeah, you cover those up and you put them in the fridge, and then when you're ready, you take them out and let them come back to room temperature. And then you can just spread them out on your little pan here. We got these for the pizza oven, but you can also do it on a regular baking sheet if you're baking this in your kitchen, the oven that's in your kitchen. I just stretch it out. And then this is where you put your toppings on. So this is where it gets fun. You can put anything on it that you like. If you like tomato sauce, use tomato sauce. If not, you can use any other kind of sauce, obviously. You can put meat on it. If you're vegan or vegetarian, you can skip that. You can put any kind of cheese, obviously. So here I have some tomato sauce, as you can see. And then I am adding some mushrooms. If you can't tell by my videos, I am a mushroom lover. I put mushrooms on a lot of things. And then here I have some sweet mini bell peppers. You can't see them that well. There you go, that's a little bit better. And then some pepperoni, classic. And here's some mozzarella cheese. A tip that I'd like to share, especially if you're cooking in an outdoor oven, but I think just in general, is try to not overload your dough. Like, don't add too many toppings so that the dough can rise. Here it is going into the oven. And that cooks in just about 2 minutes. But while that's cooking, I assemble my other pizza with, I just put down some olive oil and garlic powder, and then some prosciutto, and then these are peaches that I had left over in the fridge, and then some spoonfuls of ricotta cheese. Pretty simple, but also quite delicious. Here's the first pizza out of the oven. Nice and crispy, melty. And you can see that the dough has those nice air bubble pockets that have risen up. Here's the ricotta pizza going in the oven. And there it is out of the oven. I just topped it with some fresh torn basil. And we'll cut these up, slice these up, and serve. Here I am trying to share with you. Here's your piece. Doesn't that look beautiful? Or am I just biased? Oh, lost a piece. There you go. Pizza! Ignore the redness in my eye. I got something in it. I don't know. Just look at that. Come on. This is the one with the pepperoni, and it's so good. The heat of that oven got such crispness on that pepperoni. It like rendered the fat out. It's almost like pepperoni bacon. The peach prosciutto on ricotta. Oh, wow. This one's my favorite. They're both super, super good, but I'm a sucker for ricotta, and I love the sweetness of the peaches with the saltiness of that prosciutto that also has gotten a little crispy, sort of like the pepperoni. If you enjoy unique or different toppings than the norm on your pizza, try this one. I mean, I recommend them both, but this is amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you try this recipe, whether it's in the conventional oven or in a pizza oven, but I hope you try it and enjoy it, and let me know what toppings you prefer on your pizza. But I'll talk to you soon. Bye.